If you have been watching Lumix for years, you know the S5 II was an important camera. It gave Panasonic the autofocus system people had been waiting for and brought full-frame Lumix back into serious conversation. But the best Lumix camera is not always the obvious one. Depending on how you shoot, 3 other Lumix bodies may actually make more sense. You are watching Alt Buzz, camera stories that go deeper than specs and help you find the Lumix that truly fits. For years, there was a quiet tension inside the Lumix world. The cameras were good, genuinely good. The color science was thoughtful, the stabilization was real. The video tools were serious in a way that most brands were not even attempting. And yet, every time someone walked into a conversation about Lumix, there was always the same hesitation. A pause, a but, the autofocus. Compared to what Sony was doing, compared to what Canon had built, Lumix phase detection was the gap that would not close. It was not catastrophic. But in a market where buyers compare directly and hesitate easily, that gap cost Panasonic sales it should have had. Then the S5 II arrived, phase hybrid autofocus, in a full-frame Lumix body. Finally, the conversation changed almost overnight. The S5 II became the safe recommendation, the obvious one, the camera everyone pointed to when someone said, "Which Lumix should I buy?" The S5 II did not earn that position by accident. It earned it honestly. But here is what happens when a camera becomes the default answer. People stop asking whether it is the right camera for them. And that shift costs buyers something real. So today we are going deeper. 3 cameras, 3 types of Lumix shooters. A number 1 that may be Lumix's real winner. And if you want camera breakdowns that go beyond the obvious recommendation, subscribe to Alt Buzz right now. We do not just ask which camera is popular. We ask which camera actually makes sense for the way you shoot. At number 3, we have the Panasonic Lumix S9. And this is where the list surprises people. Because when most buyers think about an alternative to the S5 II, they imagine something heavier, something with more presence. They expect the alternative to feel like an upgrade in the traditional sense. The S9s goes the other direction, and that is exactly the point. Here is something the camera industry understands, but rarely says clearly. A serious camera's body carries weight that is not measured in grams. It carries expectation. It carries obligation. When you pick up something that looks professional and handles professionally, you are also picking up a version of pressure. Every time you take it out, there is a subtle sense that it should be used for something deliberate, something worth the gear. For some creators, that feeling is motivating. For others, it is exactly what keeps the camera in the bag. The S9 removes that weight entirely. This is full-frame Lumix in a body that does not make you feel like you are clocking into work. Compact, light, genuinely easy to carry into real life without performing a whole production around it. And yet underneath that lighter personality, you still have the full-frame sensor, the Lumix color science, and access to the L-mount glass ecosystem, one of the strongest optical lineups available to any mirrorless system right now. The real-time LUT feature changes the creator workflow in a way that sounds small until you actually use it. You are shooting with your look already applied. What you see is already close to what your audience will see. For social content, for short-form video, for the creator who does not want to spend an afternoon in post-massaging footage that should have been ready the moment it was captured. That is a meaningful shift, not a gimmick. A genuine change in how fast you can move from shooting to sharing. Think about the travel scenario. You want full-frame quality. You do not want to look like a film crew. You want to be present. The S9 fits in a small bag, disappears in a crowd, and still produces footage that makes people stop and ask what you shot it on. Now the honest part. No electronic viewfinder, no headphone jack. Lighter handling in every sense, which means for professional production work, for paid client shoots where handling matters, it is not the right tool. It is not pretending to be. The S9 is not better than the S5 II for everyone, but for the creator who wants full-frame Lumix in the smallest, easiest body possible, it may be the smarter choice. At number 2, we have the Panasonic Lumix G9 II. And this is where the argument gets genuinely interesting, because the G9 II is not full-frame. And that is not a weakness to apologize for. That is the entire point. There is a story that gets told in camera culture that has become almost automatic. Full frame equals serious. Anything smaller equals compromise. If you are a real photographer, a real filmmaker, you shoot full frame. Everything else is a stepping stone. That story is wrong. And experienced photographers know it. Here's what actually happens over years of shooting. You carry your kit to more places than you expected. You spend hours on location, walking, hiking, waiting. And eventually you ask yourself quiet, honest question. How much of this weight is serving my work? And how much of it is serving an idea of what serious photography is supposed to look like? Many photographers who have been shooting for a long time arrive at the same conclusion. The best camera is not the one with the biggest sensor. It is the camera you actually want to carry. The G9 II is micro four thirds. That means smaller lenses, a lighter overall kit, and travel that feels like an adventure rather than a logistics challenge. And then there are the specific advantages the system gives you that full frame cannot easily replicate. Reach, for one. When you are shooting wildlife and need 400 millimeters of focal length, the G9 II gives you that reach without requiring you to carry 400 millimeters of glass. That is not a workaround. That is an advantage built into the physics of the system. The stabilization is exceptional. The burst shooting speed is real. The video capability is serious in a way that serves hybrid shooters who need reliable, high-quality output across stills and motion. The G9 II is not trying to impress anyone by being full frame. It is solving a different and arguably more practical problem. How do you give serious shooters real capability without forcing them into a system that demands they sacrifice mobility for sensor size? The honest weakness is simple. Full frame still wins in low light. Full frame still produces that specific quality of background separation that some work genuinely requires. And if you are building an L-mount system, the G9 II lives on a different mount entirely. But if what you care about is what you can carry and genuinely enjoy shooting through a full day, the G9 II may be the smarter Lumix. And that is exactly the kind of camera breakdown that makes subscribing to AltBuzz worth it. Hit that subscribe button now. Camera stories that go deeper than specs every single time. Before we get to number one, a quick word from the people who make this channel possible. If these breakdowns are helping you make smarter camera decisions, you can support AltBuzz directly through our membership. Core member at $5 per month gives you a loyalty badge, custom emojis, priority replies, early access to videos, and members-only polls. Elite Partner at $10 per month gives you everything in Core, plus members-only shorts, shoutouts and videos, and exclusive content you will not find anywhere else. This is a community of people who care about cameras the way we do. The join button is right below the video. So far, the pattern is clear. The S9 makes full-frame Lumix easier to live with. The G9 II proves that full frame is not always the smarter systems, just the more assumed one. But number one is different. It does not move away from the S5 II idea. It takes that idea and pushes it further than most buyers expect. And everything we have looked at so far has been building to this. At number one, we have the Panasonic Lumix S5 IIX. Now, before you say that is basically just the S5 II with a letter on the end, stay with me. Because this is exactly where most buyers miss the point. And missing this point is costing them something real. The S5 II is what Panasonic built to fix a conversation. It closed the autofocus gap. It brought Lumix back into the consideration set. But the S5 IIX is something different. It is what Panasonic built for the creators who already knew Lumix was serious and wanted the full depth of that seriousness without compromise. The foundation is identical. Same full-frame sensor, same phase hybrid autofocus, same body, same handling. You are not giving anything up by choosing the S5 IIX. You are adding. And what you are adding is where the argument lives. USB solid-state drive recording. This is not a feature for a spec sheet. If you are shooting long-form content, documentary work, event coverage, anything where running out of card space becomes a workflow problem. Being able to record directly to an external solid-state drive over USB changes your relationship with the camera entirely. No format anxiety. No stopping at the wrong moment. Just continuous. Reliable capture that lets you stay focused on the work instead of the logistics. HDMI raw output. This is the one that matters for serious production. When you need to send a clean raw signal to an external recorder, when you need to push your footage into a higher quality pipeline for delivery, the S5 IIX gives you that option. The S5 II does not. And that difference, for the right shooter, is not a small thing. It is the difference between a camera that works for your production and a camera that works around it. Think about the real-world scenario. You are shooting a brand video. The client wants the highest quality deliverable you can produce. You need long, continuous takes. You need a clean signal path. The S5 II gets you close. The S5 IIX gets you there. The honest part. If you only shoot stills, the S5 IIX gives you nothing extra. If your video work is casual, you may never touch those features. The S5 II saves you real money for the same autofocus and sensor. The S5 IIX is not for everyone. That is not a weakness. That is a feature. Panasonic built it for the shooter who understands what Lumix video has always been about and wants the deepest, most complete version of that identity in a modern full-frame body. That is why the S5 IIX is Lumix's real winner. Not because everyone needs it. Because for the people who do, nothing else in the Lumix lineup makes the same argument. Subscribe to Alt Buzz if you are not already. This is the kind of deeper camera conversation we have every week, and you do not want to miss what is coming next. The S5 II is not overhyped because it is bad. It became the default answer because it fixed the one thing Panasonic needed to fix. But once a camera becomes the default answer, people stop asking whether it is actually the right one for them. The S9 is for the creator who wants full-frame Lumix without the weight of obligation. The G9 II is for the shooter who has learned that what you can carry all day matters more than what your sensor size says about you. And the S5 IIX is for the serious creator who wants the Lumix idea pushed all the way into professional territory. The best Lumix camera is not always the most obvious one. It is the one that fits the way you actually shoot. The real question was never whether the S5 II is good. It is. The real question is it your Lumix? Subscribe to Alt Buzz for camera stories that go deeper than specs. Amazon buying links for the S9, the G9 II, and the S5 IIX are in the description. Check current pricing before you buy. Visit altbuzzmedia.com for deeper guides, comparisons, and buying strategy built for creators who think before they spend. If this breakdown helped you see something you had not considered, Super Thanks is available right below. It ranges from $2 to $100 and goes directly to keeping this channel independent. And if you want to go deeper, join the Alt Buzz community. Core member at $5, Elite partner at $10. The button is right below. Thanks for watching.